Ladies and gentlemen, we went and saw Superman. Check it out from the Hollywood Reporter Superman Review. James Gunn gives DC Studios' crown jewel a gleaming polish with help from David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. So the big story was that it was woke. The director had made comments about immigration. Sean Gunn, his brother, had made comments about people who spread hate. And the immediate assumption for many people was that it was going to be woke. Another story is Superman used to say truth, justice, and the American way. And now he says truth, justice, and the human way. When we went and saw the movie, and I will tell you this, it is not woke, it's not political. There's only one political comment in it, and it was a joke mocking, it wasn't really mocking anybody. It was just an overt general statement that didn't direct anything towards anybody. I will get into spoilers in a little bit, but I'll give you guys a heads up so we can talk a little bit about it right now and address the political stuff. It was not about immigration. It was not political in any way. From the trailers, you can see, so this is not a spoiler, you know, Superman's basically like, he stops a war between two nations. That's technically as political as it gets. The motivations of the villain have nothing to do with wokeness, Marxism, critical theory. It is classic Lex Luthor versus Superman. I thought the movie was pretty good. However, I will say this, and this is kind of a spoiler, but it's kind of not. Guys, the interdimensional monkeys is true.
I always knew that. I knew it.
So a while ago, there was a leak that in the movie there were interdimensional monkeys that were spamming Twitter, insulting Superman to make him angry. And I thought someone made that up to mock James Gunn's Superman by throwing some stupid idea out there. Indeed, it is in the movie. And the beginning of the movie was okay, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. C- maybe. Now it's a D+. And then the moment I saw the monkeys, F. I was almost ready to walk out of the theater. But I rolled my eyes and I went, oh my God. Literally, Lex Luthor has an army of interdimensional monkeys that are insulting Superman on Twitter.
Interdimensional how?
We'll get to that in a little bit because I don't want to give spoilers, but they're interdimensional monkeys. They're normal Earth monkeys in an interdimensional plane. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Spoiler. So what I will say is, after this, I was flatlining. Like if there's like a meter showing like how much do I like the movie, in the beginning, it was the intro showing off Lex Luthor's abilities spiked way up to the top. I was like, yes. Because what I love in superhero movies is humans who are better than superheroes. That's why I like Batman. That's why I like Iron Man. That's why I like Doctor Strange. Regular humans who acquire their ability through hard work. Like Doctor Strange studied, Iron Man invented things, Mr. Terrific invented things. I love that. So beginning was like really good, and then it slowed down. I was getting bored, and I was like, it's okay, I guess. It's whatever. I'm not really. And then the monkeys thing happened, and I was like, I will walk out. I swear to God. Stuck around a little bit, and it improved so dramatically, in my opinion, that I gave the film an 8 out of 10. And I probably would have given it a 10 out of 10 if they didn't do the monkeys thing, and the beginning was a little bit stronger.
You know, movies, music, they tend to take the shape of if the beginning and the end are awesome. It's really, the middle is not too important. It's how you feel when it starts and how you feel when it's over is the most important. Well, generally, if it starts strong and ends strong, you have a relative success.
Let's get into some spoilers. Now, I will stress the whole movie's already been spoiled because a few days ago, before the movie came out, a review was leaked that basically laid out the entirety of the plot. Some people have tried making claims there's an Israel-Palestine reference in it. There is not. The two nations that Superman stops from going to war is a wealthier Eastern European nation and a poorer tribal South Asian nation like India or Pakistan. I think they intentionally avoided getting like, they were like, let's not make it easier. I think they intentionally avoided making it look like Ukraine and Russia or Israel, Palestine. So it's random countries. The map where it shows the countries is a nondescript close-up, so you don't really know on the planet where it is, and they're made up countries. The conflict is that Superman feels he has the authority to engage in global affairs, and the U.S. government is like, this is causing us problems, but we don't want to intervene because Superman's largely good. And then basically the principal motivations of Lex Luthor is, actually I would argue this, it actually kind of digs at communists and wokeness. If you really want to find a political message, Lex Luthor's motivation is that he is jealous. This is literally the plot. Superman has done nothing to earn his powers. He is naturally gifted, and that's an affront to what it means to be someone who works so hard. And so these leftists who are upset at people who are naturally beautiful or white privilege, you never earned that, you didn't make it, it was done for you, is basically the motivations of the villain. I still wouldn't call it woke, like political in any way, but if you really wanted to squeeze it in there.
It sounds like they attempted to depoliticize it so extremely that they took truth, justice, and the American way out of it, and they replaced it with the human way. Like they
don't say that. I'm fairly certain never in the movie was it ever brought up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
that was what Dean Cain tweeted about earlier. That's what he was complaining about.
I don't remember anywhere in the movie that being said.
He was American propaganda. Superman was American propaganda in the beginning of the 30s and 40s. He would fight Red Skull, beat up Nazis. All about America. It was a big American.
Yeah. If anything, you can argue there's I think they did a pretty good job avoiding the pitfalls. So, okay, we'll get a little heavier into the spoilers just for you guys, so you know. A war's about to break out. Superman stops the war from happening, causing an international incident. The Eastern European nation is aligned with the U.S. U.S. corporations sell weapons to them. They're pissed. And the poorer nation is actually kind of a backwards bad country. And there's anger at Superman because he didn't, why you don't have the authority to go around and just do whatever you want. Lois Lane criticizes him. This is actually in the trailer. She's like, "Did you consider what was going to happen if you did this?" And Superman is being criticized because there's negative repercussions after the fact. There's a reason why the U.S. doesn't just intervene wherever they want, whenever they want, despite the fact they tend to. And Superman's unilateral actions can result in collateral damage after the fact and other conflicts.
Did the military-industrial complex complain about all their profit losses towards Superman and build a kryptonite weapon?
Okay, you ready for more spoilers?
Okay, I guess so.
Lex Luthor was selling weapons to the Eastern European nation, and when Superman stopped the conflict, that put at risk Lex Luthor's $80 billion contract.
I like this plot. This plot line is good.
There's more to the plot than that, but early on when they're like, why is Lex Luthor doing what he's doing? Basically, Lex has an army of monkeys because he's antagonizing Superman. So he's Lex Luthor.
The army of monkeys thing, if it had been AI, if it had been an army of AI robots or just like a supercomputer doing it, would it have not been cheap? Was it just that they were monkeys?
The reason why James Gunn had interdimensional monkeys typing on Twitter was because he was intentionally insulting the people who got him canceled, which is Mike Cernovich. He's calling Mike a monkey.
Oh, that's awesome.
In a movie. I know. If I was Mike, I'd be laughing.
Cernovich.
So basically, Lex Luthor is talking to Superman, and then he said, and here's my network of monkeys, and then you see these computers hanging from racks with monkeys, and it actually shows the monkeys typing.
There's this,
and they're typing things like, who could support Superman at this point? He's bad. The only reason that was in the film, because it's unrelated to literally anything in the plot, was that James Gunn wanted to say the people who are posting nonsense hate on Twitter are monkeys.
And there's that old adage of if you put a million monkeys in a room for a million hours, they would write Shakespeare.
Sure, but he had hardwired the brains of the monkeys to be able to type smart things and insult Superman.
Oh, he smartened the monkeys?
They were wearing like helmets or something.
Oh, Lex Luthor.
And I was going to walk out. I was like, James, no. I like James Gunn's movies, okay? Guardians is awesome. Suicide Squad was good. And I had read all the stuff saying it was going to be woken about immigration. And I was like, I don't know if I believe it. Then Sean Gunn said some stupid comments that were sounding political. James Gunn, what Brett was saying, and I could be wrong, I'll have to ask Brett later, but I'm pretty sure he was saying the person who interviewed James Gunn took his comments out of context to try and make it political. Oh. And I think there's a lot of people trying to make the movie political because, I don't know, online zeitgeist, hate on the movie, but it was good. I thought it was great.
I guess Superman was political when they built him in the 30s, but it doesn't mean he always has to be political.
Mr. Terrific saved the movie. Okay, I was so excited. I love the character Mr. Terrific. For those that aren't familiar, he's a child prodigy who becomes a billionaire. He becomes depressed after losing his family in an accident, and then is convinced by some other superheroes to use his wealth and technology and resources to be a superhero himself. And he's got these things called T-spheres. So he basically walks around and he has drones that he uses to like project energy, force fields. He can like lift himself in the air. He flies with them.
Does it help him move faster? Like manual dexterity and stuff?
No.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They hack stuff and he can see what they see in the cameras. So technically in the comics, like the spheres can do whatever plot device they need to do.
I've been playing a lot of RimWorld and there's this technomancer class where he's got this ball that follows him around.
I think that the acting may have been a little dry, but the character is fantastic. And after the monkeys thing happened and I was so pissed off, they gave us a Mr. Terrific fight scene that was awesome.
Did he fight the monkeys?
He did not.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to see Mr. Terrific using his technology, taking on a bunch of bad guys. And then I was like, okay, I'm reinvested in this movie now. And then it gradually improved from there. Metamorpho was really cool. I thought the Metamorpho fight scene was really great. And the actor who played him nailed this character. I love it. Spoilers, okay? We're in spoilers. There's bad guys, not a heavy spoiler, but Metamorpho is surrounded by bad guys, and they're like, freeze, and then his skin, his body turns to green bubbles, and they go, what, are you going to splash us? And he's like, yes, with sulfuric acid, and then sprays them all, and they're like, ah! Or it was like hydrochloric acid or something. Like, it was great how they did Metamorpho. I thought it was
kind of like a tepid nerd, Metamorpho's personality.
The character was pretty, like shy.
Yeah, I like that. That's kind of Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow. I love that. He's like one of my favorite actors.
Timid.
Yeah. Well, maybe fan fiction, someone should AI create a scene where Superman goes into the monkey room and just heat rays all of them, blast them. They're like, yeah.
There's one point someone brought up that I will address too. A major negative for the film that I knew the moment they did it, they couldn't correct it, and they damaged the lore miserably, and I'm pissed about. But as Selene Hope says, they made Superman's real parents into space Nazis.
What?
So what happens is, this is politically relevant, so I know it's a big spoiler, but it's politically relevant. In the beginning, they don't give you an origin story for Superman. They give you a scene where he's recovering, and there's a robot being trained via programming. So they're explaining to the robot, which is basically you, the audience. So they're like, Superman likes to hear the message from his parents. It soothes him. And it's his parents. I think it was Bradley Cooper, by the way, which is awesome.
And Jor-El.
Jor-El. I mean, the problem is they ruined the character. Yeah. But anyway, the message is, we love you so much more than anything. We found a planet, Earth. We're sending you there. You can do the most good, be a strong man, and bring the truth of Krypton. And then the message is damaged. And he's like, I don't know what the rest of the message is, but I will try to live up to that message, to be good and to bring the truth of Krypton. So he becomes a superhero. Lex Luthor breaks in, and his cybernetic, henchman, she's got nanobots, breaks into the mainframe, and it was able to download the message. And by downloading it, recovers the corrupted data, in which they go on to say, take as many wives as you can, have as many babies as possible. The humans are weak and stupid, and you can control them and enslave them and blah blah blah. And then and then the wife's like, the mom is like, take as many wives as you can and have many babies, so that they will grow up with your DNA and bring the strength of Krypton. Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, that's ultra cringe. Yeah. It wasn't overtly political, but it is not true to the characters. And it is insulting to what they could have done with Jor-El. So I was not a fan of that.
Jor-El, he was like a capitalist. He was like a rich guy on Krypton. He had wealth because he could obviously send his son on a spaceship.
No, they all kind of did. It was a highly advanced civilization, and he was a scientist.
None of them had superpowers. It was only Earth's yellow sun that gives those humans power, those people power.
So they were under a red sun. And
he was a scientist. Jor-El was a scientist.
And so then he knew the planet. He predicted the planet was going to be destroyed, but they didn't listen, so he sent his son off. And then they've evolved that story quite dramatically. They introduced Supergirl only briefly at the end, and it's that actress. I can't remember her name, but people will probably be excited to see her as Supergirl. Okay. I'll just say this: that was really, really bad. It wasn't. It wasn't political. They're not space Nazis. They're just the motivation of Superman's parents is to repopulate Kryptonians.
Okay.
And so they're like, take a harem and as many wives as you can, have many children.
You got to understand that means he could have like 700,000 women. Like,
it is.
He can move at lightning speed.
I got to say, though,
like, probably 100 million women.
I as much as that is cringe, the scene where Guy Gardner walks up to Superman and he's like, how many wives do you have, man? And it's like, Nathan Fillion was amazing, and it was really funny. He was like, hey, is that true? How many wives do you got? And Superman's like, I don't have a bunch of wives. Because Lex Luthor was trying to destroy his reputation.
Oh. But no one said deep fake? No one's like, no, it's a deep fake. My parents never would have said that.
There were a few poorly written lines, which is Mr. Terrific goes, I know these guys. He's like, I know these digital forensic guys. It's a real message. And I'm like, no. Come on. You could have written that better. You could have had them say maybe it was fake, and they should have said it was fake, and then they could have recovered the character arc of Superman's parents.
Yeah.
There's another scene where Trump is Trump. Look at my brain. Superman. Well, it's a Freudian slip because of how I envision the man. Superman is encased in nanites, and he's about to crash into the earth. And Lex Luthor goes, unsheath. He's the only one armored. And I'm like, or the only one being protected or something like that. And I'm like, yo, that line was a little heavy.
What is he talking? Unsheath. What does he mean?
The nanite lady covers him in nanites. So then Superman flies towards the earth to crash. And then Lex Luthor yells, unsheath. He's the only one being protected. Like, he needed to tell the audience what it meant and why this mattered. A little over. The point was that because he was covered, as he crashes into Earth, he was being shielded by her attack on him.
And he had to tell the world. He had to
explain to the woman, but really to the audience. He didn't need to do that. It could have been written much, much better. But anyway, we got to go to your chats and all that. But I will just say, I think James Gunn might actually save the DC cinematic universe. It was great. It was really well done, and I'm mostly excited that they did not pander any stupid political ways. Superman is a white guy who the arguments were like higher level politics on when you can invade and when you can't invade. Nothing about being a white man, nothing about money, nothing about being a billionaire, none of that weird, stupid garbage the left is trying to inject in it. Literally not a thing about immigration. Never. The closest thing they got to immigration was Lex Luthor being like, you're just an alien. And then Superman says, no, I'm just a person. I wake up the same as you. That's what you don't understand. And I'm like, that's fine. He didn't say you're an immigrant to my country and my planet and you're ruining us. The immigration was never an issue. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel and we will see you all there.